Yo, what is up, happening? Welcome back to your D&D Otorimonogatari. Tonight we're at episode 4. This is, as far as I am aware, the finale of this arc, this Monogatari arc, the Sengoku Snake Medusa, Sengoku Medusa, Nadeko Medusa arc. Let me just go boom, get the comments on the screen. You already know how it goes. Since this is a finale, there is a lot to talk about in the last couple episodes and where we're kind of been left off. Because we are left off at quite the kind of cliffhanger with Araragi walking in on Sengoku with the freaking talisman to get that's the snake body that she's been looking for this entire time. Also, I went back and I looked in Bakemonogatari. I rewatched a large chunk of Bakemonogatari episode 10, which is the conclusion of the Nadeko snake arc, which is the Sengoku arc from Bake, which obviously is super important. It's the last Sengoku arc that's happened. I mean, Sengoku showed up in Nisei for 2 seconds, which we actually I think looked at. We looked at that last episode. Yeah, Nisei episode 2. We looked at that. So we're gonna relook at Bake episode 10 just to kind of get some of those going. Probably should have done that earlier, but it is what it is. We're just we play the hand we're dealt or the hand we're left with in this case. So yeah, comments. First, kind of been getting hints of this. There's been a lot of foreshadowing for the hair thing, which is just Pog. We love good foreshadowing. How she's, even back in Bake, she had this whole bangs thing going on. We love those ideas being cooked with early. This is something I wanted to get into for a second. So this is the comment section for episode 2 of Otori here. I kind of went on a thing here about the narrator character. I just got a little there is no narrator, right? In the light novel, we have Sengoku saying, I feel like there was a completely unnecessary step there, but maybe it's Nadeko's imagination, she can't tell. That made me think that there was a narrator, or that was narrating the story, because we're hearing Nadeko in the third person, instead of I, which is what I would expect, because it's also done, I is done here, but then Nadeko / she is done here, so it's kind of a weird thing. Which got me spinning off. To clarify that, and there's a couple comments, something in here, and then kind of clarifying this, which is that there is no narrator character. It's all fully done by Nadeko. It's just that in Japanese, it's common to refer to yourself in the third person. So that's a culture/language diff right there. Just with the whole third person thing, not something I was expecting. It was kind of me going a bit too ham on a minor thing anyways without properly kind of having it backed up, because I obviously haven't read the light novel and was just going off of a clip, a little fragment there. But yes, so clarifying that there is no narrator that's telling the story. It is the person's story who's telling it is the one that's doing all of it. So just clarifying that a little bit. The whole faulty narrator thing is super important about... What do the visual differences that we see all the time, right? Like Araragi catching Senjougahara, the spiral staircase, how sometimes it's not actually spiraled. Apparently, I honestly don't remember it being a normal staircase, but I'm gonna take your word on that one. Or something that I am more clear-headed on, the Kizu, the cram school looking different in certain scrapyard looking ass. Okay, but yeah, the cram school looking different in different different the cram school looks different depending on who's looking at it / depending on the arc, right? Yeah. So the question is, what do these visual differences or how they present it imply? I mean, that's the big question, right? It's all so much based off of who's telling the story and what the story is that they're trying to tell. So I mean, the question really needs to be kind of based in that context of what is the visual difference, and then then what does it imply? Because yeah, I mean, the entire thing's super faulty narrator. So yes, in the mind, locked in, we'll have to keep that in mind. I'm kind of thinking with Kizu that, I don't know, because in Kizu, the cram school, I remember being in it could have just, that's the thing, it could have been a lot of the differences. It's hard to tell sometimes whether it's continuity breaking, or if it's animation diff, or if it's an intentional visual difference that's part of the story, right? Because I'm thinking back to Kizu, and I remember Kizu had a big animation shift, right? Because it kind of had that time skip, or the production time skip going on. And so when I'm watching it, the whole cram school, like how it's portrayed and it, being different isn't something I'm thinking about because I'm just kind of like that thought I don't even worry about because it's either like, oh, weird continuity stuff, like I'm just not going to worry about it, or, animation diff or whatever. But with a story like this, it's breaks in continuity are part of the story. So, I mean, you already know that, but it's just, basically Pog. This I really liked. This is talking about the Nadeko speech. I do want to rewatch part of that specifically. This line specifically goes really hard, and it's maybe there was a bit of truth inside that lie. That is a crazy line. That is an absolutely crazy line, especially with it being the precursor. Because remember, this speech took place. She gets her bangs cut, and the whole like her teacher saying like, "Oh, you're the class president. You gotta blah 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 blah," and that she's been avoiding this entire time. This speech was part of her like letting out all that frustration, actually dealing with it, which is something that was repressed within her. But so she says this line. Maybe there's a bit of truth inside that lie, which goes hard. I mean, I don't know. I'm thinking, just the word Kaiki comes to mind. Dude, freaking Kaiki. Kaiki is, what a guy. Put that aside. This line being right before her thinking to herself about Araragi is what's crazy to me. Because Araragi, or because her thing with Araragi was the whole, I love this guy, or like I have a crush on this guy, or whatever. However, I've been using that as a way to like give myself an excuse and give myself an escape and use my bang. It's like a version of her bangs, right, where she's using it to kind of hide. It's one of those barriers from like all the class love, right? So the guy's like, "Yo, Sengoku, I got a thing for you. I like you, Sengoku." She's like, "Oh, I like somebody else. That's a no from me, dog." But the whole her liking somebody else isn't necessarily like her truly liking that person as much as it's that excuse that she's created. So this makes me think that what is she considering her love for Araragi a lie, but that there's also some truth within it, right? Like I feel like that's kind of a question that she's having to deal with here in this final episode, right? Whether she like what's the nature of her love for Araragi, because she talked about how it was like a deflection thing, but perhaps like there's a reason she chose him to be the fake crush or the excuse crush, or like fake's kind of a weird word to use, but the excuse crush. There's a reason she chose him. Well, and you could say it's jealousy of Tsukihi. The whole only child, blah blah blah, all that stuff, right? But yeah, basically that line is super good, and I think reflects her current question within herself about Araragi, which I think is why. I mean, because remember the snake at the very end asks her like, "Yo, I can grant any wish. I'm your guy, Sengoku. I'm your guy," and she takes a long time to think about like, what would I even want? Do I even want anything? And there's that big focus on I, which is something we'll get into in a second here, with this comment. But there's that thing of her being like not wanting anything because all she really does is retreat and let other people do their thing, and she kind of pulls away from it all. And so I don't know. Her stun lock, continue. Let's just keep moving. I like it though. Hopefully we'll get back to it. This is the meta narrator thing. There is no meta narrator. Agreed. I just got confused on the wording. Both. I like this though. It's a sign that there's a disconnect between what she conceptualizes as herself and Nadeko. Totally makes sense, right? We see the two versions of her really, really hard here. Like the thing she puts forward, the bangs, and then that gets cut away, and then like her true self, or at least the self that was underneath, which would, I mean, be those two versions. This is Bake stuff. I'm gonna get back. Should I just say that now? Yeah. Okay. So this is the timeline. I made a little timeline, of what happened up to this point in Bake. So it starts, not Bake, but also other stuff, right? So first thing, Kaiki gives the snake curse knowledge, cons all the classmates, and gives them the snake curse, basically, right? So they start cursing each other, except none of them are really good at curses. None of them know what they're doing, so none of the curses really do anything, right? That was a point in Bake, where the crazy thing is that Sengoku was actually getting hoed by this, right? She was actually getting crushed by the snakes, but nobody else was. And that was kind of brought up again in this arc, right? I don't remember exactly when, but that was brought up again in this arc. So Kaiki gives the curse to everyone. The classmate curses Sengoku, right? Because somebody sends the snakes on her. At least that's what Sengoku says. And then Sengoku makes it worse by chopping up the snakes, which was her messing up the ritual that was supposed to cure her of the snaking, right? The constricting. And then Araragi helps out, right? She goes to Araragi helps out. And then at the very end, one snake gets away, right? And there's a really good moment there in Bake where, like, Araragi kind of laments himself because he wanted to help, or he wanted to kill the snake so that the snake wouldn't get away because the snake was going to go return to the person that had placed the curse. And so he feels bad that he wanted to get rid of it because Sengoku is like thanking him, but it's like, well, I wanted to help the person that hurt you. So there was all that in their conflict, but that's another thing entirely. The crazy thing to me, and the thing that's kind of like being red flagging, is Sengoku makes the situation worse by chopping up the snakes. She's the only one that does this. She's the only one that gets hoed. But why would she do this? Why would she go chop up snakes? Right? Because she's the only one that did it. So it's a pretty exceptional thing that she's even doing anything. Right? Because nobody else did anything. But it's extra exceptional. Mind you, it's extra exceptional because she is the girl that hides. She's the girl that hides behind the bangs, that pulls away from all that stuff, that uses the cute excuses and her cuteness to not have to deal with problems. So, but she went out of her way to chop up these snakes, and not even just chop up, but research how to deal with this ritual, and then actually take into account she had to capture a bunch of snakes or whatever, had to go fight a bunch of snakes. Snakes are kind of spooky. Not a huge fan of snakes, right? To even deal with this. So why wouldn't she just hide from it as per how she hides from everything? How she avoids everything, right? She avoids the stuff with the teacher and the class president. She avoids the love life issues by just using Araragi as an excuse, but she doesn't avoid her classmates not liking her and throwing a curse on her, but that's something that they're all doing to each other, I'm pretty sure. It's not even just her that got cursed. Like, a bunch of people got cursed, but for her, that for some reason is what sparks her. So I think I have two reasons, but I only remember one off the top. Hopefully the other one will come to me. One is that she made the situation worse on purpose so that to get Araragi's attention. Right? Because it wasn't bad enough for anything to happen, but she goes, makes it worse, and then she can show up to Araragi and be like, I'm getting crushed, my boy. And then he has to take care of her, right? She like strips down naked and she's in the swimsuit, and she says, like, at the end of the arc in episode 10, which we'll pull up in a minute, like, yo, keep looking at me. That's like a line she says. Without the yo, she just says, keep looking at me. Don't know why that was there. But yeah, like, she is getting something out of Araragi helping her out, right? Obviously, I mean, it's the person that she's into. So the reason she's even getting helped out is an action she took. So there is a potential that she did it on purpose for that point. The other reason I do remember the other explanation would just be that this is her trying to break out of those restraints, right? That's kind of like potentially the snake symbolism, you know, the whole constricting around you, binding you thing. So her like cutesy victim mindset deflection tactics, right? The bangs. I keep trying to use my hair, but my hair is just not obeying. She, let's say back in Bake, when this curse was placed on her, this snake curse, she was like, you know what? Maybe this is the time that I can fight back against these restraints that I use, this victim mindset that I hate, because she don't like it. She's not a fan of it. But then when she does so, she screws it up and then gets punished really hard, which would be a reason for her to double back down on the mindset, right? You know, because she has the victim mindset. Let's say in this hypothetical, right, where she doesn't on purpose make it worse. She has the victim mindset. She tries to fix it, gets hoed for it. That, I mean, reasonably would lead to you double downing on the victim mindset and saying, well, if I try to break out of this, I get suffocated by snakes. So I'm just going to, like, exist with this. But then, of course, that need to escape from the victim mindset comes back up in Nisei. You know, she does the bang thing with Araragi. You know, puts her hair back. And then is coming back up now, obviously. It's all coming out even with the whole bangs getting cut snake thing. So yeah, but, you know, I don't know. It could still be that she chopped up the snakes on purpose incorrectly as to get Araragi's attention because she wants to be the victim to, like, she wants to be a victim that Araragi helps, right? She wants to be like a project for Araragi to work on because she's mistaking that for like Araragi caring about her or whatever. Well, he cares about her obviously, but he's mistaking that for like she wants like a love to come out of that is the idea. So yeah, that's where I'm at there. There's also the third crack idea that she literally like placed the snake curse on herself in the first place, but that's getting like really like bad, like not giving much, not putting much faith in her in a way, right? Where it's assuming that she's willing to just, that she's big braining this entire elaborate deceit, which I don't really get that impression. I mean, it is a potential that she put the curse on herself, but I don't know. That doesn't really line up because there's been such a focus on, and she says it in episode 3 that we just watched last time, 8 days ago, that the whole like Adaragi is my excuse to not deal with the love life thing. So the whole love life thing is what caused her, is what led to her getting cursed. I'm pretty happy with that. I don't want to touch that, but it's worth mentioning that in another world, maybe she was even more deceitful and made something happen, but I don't think that's the case. Though I do think there could have been an on purpose. She wants to be the victim that Araragi helps because she wants that connection, so she made it worse on purpose. Yeah. Oh yeah, and then there is a thought as well that, oh yeah, the one thing that made me think that maybe she was the one that placed the curse on herself in the first place was that that in this arc, remember in Bake, one of the snakes gets away at the end. That was like a plot point, right? We haven't seen the ramifications of that. We haven't seen a guy get hoed by a snake, especially because it's a snake that only became a problem because Sengoku messed up the formula, right? It's not like he placed the snake and the snake was already a threat and now it's coming back to bite him. It's he placed the snake, she effed everything up, and now it's stronger when it's coming back. Like now it's actually a problem when it goes back to him. So it's this like weird like escalation thing. We haven't seen, of course, anything about that, right? We haven't heard a news clip of a random kid gets mauled by snake and his crushed corpse has been found, into school. We haven't heard anything like that, or seen that in this arc, or even heard mention of it. However, what have we seen? We have seen a giant snake walk up to Sengoku, slither on over to Sengoku, and say, "What's good with you?" That's freaking Tsuki Kunowachiwa, whatever this guy's name is. Kuniowachiwa? I don't know, I forget. But the big white snake that currently is the thing on, the scrunchie on Homegirl's wrist. That, I mean, is that the snake that got away? I mean, we're missing a snake and then a snake showed up, so is it the same snake? I thought. Though this guy is like talking about how his body was blah blah blah, so if we it doesn't line up perfectly, but it could be a thing. I'll just say it could be a thing. Okay, more. Okay. And her actually believing in the whole thing. This was in her Bake arc. The narrator thing, cleared that up. There is one thing I'll just say on that, because this might be a response to something I said last episode that I want to clarify just a little bit, is I've formulated, there's 3 tiers to Monogatari, okay? There's 3 tiers. Did I talk about this last episode? I don't know. It's been too long. I'm repeating myself. I don't care. 3 tiers, right? There's the story that is being told, right? The narrative. There's the narrative, right? So that's the story we're seeing that we take at face value. Then there's the narrative, the meta narrative of whoever's telling the story. So this is, the narrative is this arc, Otorimonogatari. Then we have the meta narrative of Sengoku's the ones that's telling this story. So what we see on the screen is running through a Sengoku factory. It's running through the Sengoku lens, right? So maybe there's some lies in there, right? Maybe the very beginning itself was just made up. Maybe Araragi perving on everyone and doing all that stuff that's kind of out of character. Maybe that is just something she's throwing in because she has reason to for herself, right? So that's this one, the meta-narrative. And then there's the meta-narrative? I don't know. There's the actual intention of the story itself from the author of Monogatari, Nisio Sin, or whatever the guy's name is, right? Because for the meta narrative itself has a purpose, right? And so that purpose is coming from the top dog, right? So there's three things we can be talking about whenever we're talking about one of the stories, right? So the whole like there's a care that needs to be taken where if I'm spitting some whatever, I have to make sure I'm attributing it to the right person in the list, right? Is this something that Sengoku's thinking? Is this like part of the culmination of everything that's like the reason that there is Monogatari, the story being told to us? Is it Sengoku's reason for the story, or is it within the story itself and the reason of the characters that we're seeing? Because, where Araragi's running around in this story and he has his reasons, but that's not necessarily the true Araragi, that's Sengoku's Araragi. So that's one. Nenzan, Densan. Okay. Bet. Yeah. Okay. Everything, oh yeah, and then this kind of ties into what I just said. Everything supernatural is a manifestation of human psychological energy, belief, so you don't need to choose between real/mental illness, it's both. I think this is referring to something I said last episode as well. To clarify that, I think, I'll try to make this quick. I'll try to make this quick because it's repeating. At the highest level of my 3 tiers, right, the intention of Nisio Sin, the intention of the author, the point of the story, that like we the audience, whatever, obviously, oddities aren't real in the real world or whatever, and in a lot of ways they are an allegory. They're an allegory. Get that? I don't like that word. They're an analogy for like mental illness or for blah 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 thing that I've tried to make that connection a lot, right? So on that level, that's a thing. The question I have is on the second level, right, where it's Sengoku's telling the story, Araragi's telling the story. Could oddities be not real in the second layer? Whereas, because in the bottom layer, they're real. And they're a very big part of the story. Shinobu's walking around, Hachikuji's walking around, blah, blah, blah. Like, they're all real. But in the second layer, where it's the layer that they're telling the story, the characters are telling the story to us, what if none of them are real? And this is super crack, but I think it's a fun idea, which is why I'm saying it, but it's super crack. Not at all saying it's the case, I just think it's a cool idea. What if on the second layer, oddities aren't real, but they're just something that the characters are also using to tell the story of their youth, tell the story of their childhood, right? Instead of just being, because on the third level, oddities don't exist. On the bottom level, the show we're getting shown, oddities do exist. They're a very big part of the story. But what about that second level, right? What if their literally only purpose is for this, a way for the characters to form those analogies, as opposed to being something that's impacting the characters themselves, that it actually exists, that's impacting the characters, right? Whose story is it part of? Whose story are oddities a part of? Yeah. Okay. Karen thing, this goes into Araragi. Is Araragi's sexual thing towards, like, Karen, for example, real or not? So, like, the claim here is he was messing with her, Karen, until halfway through the toothbrushing when the whole thing started to make him uncomfortable. Because I think I made like a little joke at one point that was like, Araragi's more of a Karen guy or something. I mean, I don't know if it was a joke or not. I don't have intention for anything I say. I'm just a faucet, okay? I'm an endless faucet. I like that. Yeah. Okay. But there is the question of if, like, was Araragi just messing with her, or did he have some, like, sexual underpinning to that he was getting off of? How much of that was his genuine thing versus, like, a lie that he's putting forward? Because he does have reasons to act sexual or whatnot that we've kind of, tried to come up with, like the whole he's doing that to, oh my goodness, so many intersecting themes in this story. I gotta write more of these down. Is this in my notes? I don't think it is. I'm like running a blank. It's like he's using the sexual, the lewd, over the top lewdness as like a block for how he actually is. Like he's pretending to be gross and corrupt because people that aren't gross and corrupt, that are like super pure Hanakawa, get hoed really hard. So it's like a survival tactic, or like something he does for that kind of reason, right? So yeah, I mean, however, I'm not fully convinced that he doesn't have those like sexual drives even towards his, even towards Karen. I think that there is like, I mean, shout out to my girl, freaking Sengoku. Maybe there was a bit of truth inside that lie. I mean, who's to say that his lie of the sexual, lewd, over-the-top self doesn't have some truth in it? So when he's doing it to Karen, who's to say that some of that isn't baked in actual feelings he has in that way, right? Like, and it gets, kind of crazy when you're starting to, like, go down this route, but, Karen's a young justice kid or whatever, so it's like that's what he used to be. He used to be filling a similar role that the Fire Sisters are currently filling, but he's not anymore because he's been so, like, disillusioned and, like, with justice, but he's still kind of bound by justice, so it's been, like, recontextualized for him, I would argue, right? But perhaps a part of him wants to return back to that, like, child, that younger justice passion in him that wasn't so disillusioned, and Karen represents that, and so that's kind of being pulled out through, like, a sexual thing, right? I could see something like that being the case. Man, it's just crazy things to be saying out of my mouth right now, but yeah. And then also, like, Hanakawa, right? Like, a lot of his, like, we know man's got some feelings towards Hanakawa that are sexual. Like, Kizu, he literally gets so messed up by her, but he goes and buys, like, lewd magazines, and we see those lewd magazines in this last episode, right? So, like, he does get that way, which is, like, right, like, I don't think that's, like, that's being him illusory, but him, like, flipping skirts or whatever is more of the over dramatic, like, over projection of it. But whenever he, like, flips Hanakawa's skirt, for example, is that not him, like, yes, he's being over the top when he's doing it, but he does still have those sexual feelings or whatever, so, like, it might be an exaggeration, but an exaggeration is based in reality. So, how much of it is a lie? I don't know. That's just an extension on that thought, I guess. Oh, man. It's crazy. These themes are just, there's too many intersecting freaking traffic lines. It feels like there's going to be a car crash. Shout out to Hachikuji. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. Meta-narrative stuff. Apparently in Nisei there's a part where we see, like, when she strangles him in his chair, there's a shot she suddenly disappears and you only see her shadow choking him, even if it's physically impossible for her to choke him. There is one thing, like, I don't know what scene you're talking about, so I'd have to actually look at that scene to, like, have any idea what you mean, or, like, to, like, fully understand what you mean here. But the whole, like the entire story does so many crazy things with, like, oddities and visual, like, crazy representations through all the, like, Shaft stylization that gets thrown at us. So for something like this, for, like, her shadow to be choking him, it's like I would just assume that that's Shaft being Shaft as opposed to us, as opposed to the story saying that, like, oh, maybe it's not real, right? Like, the medium that the anime does has so much crazy stuff happening all the time that I just, like, trying to say, like, oh, this crazy thing couldn't happen in reality, therefore the story's fake. It's like, dude, like, all of this is crazy. There's so much crazy stuff that couldn't happen in reality that it's hard to even, like, pick and choose what means what. I do, this is probably, like, a large thing you could get out of the scene. I'm not saying that it's not. I don't know. I guess it's just kind of a defense for people that don't fully, like, understand or, like, get clued into the meta-narrative part, because so much of the story is crazy. That's, like, how, like, unless they actually give you something to work with a little bit, like, shout out to the freaking light novel, when the light novel says maybe it's Nadeko's imagination. Like, just give me the hint. Just give me the hint, and then I can work with that, because otherwise I'm assuming it's just anime being anime a lot of the time, you know? Like, I'm assuming that it's not visual differences being made, but just continuity errors, you know, or animation diff or whatever. Like, you gotta give me something to prove that there's an intention there, or else I'm just gonna, like, there's so many things you can apply a lot of those things to. I don't know, just random thing. Lock in. Final thing, I said maybe Sengoku isn't aware that Senjogahara is Araragi's girlfriend. The screen goes, so the quote here from the comment, since the screen goes Senjo hair colored when Nadeko talks about his girlfriend, she didn't get anything wrong, and Tsukiki knows about Senjo by now anyway. I'm just gonna believe you. Yeah, basically Pog. I don't think her knowing his true girlfriend, or Araragi's true girlfriend, really matters. The reason I brought it up is because it's kind of been a thing, like a thing from the show, that, like, Oshino has said to Araragi, like, oh, I thought you'd go for Hanakawa or whatever. That's kind of been like a reoccurring thing. That like it's kind of weird for him to be with Sengoku as opposed to Hanakawa, or as opposed to something else. So it was more so a curiosity of maybe Sengoku also thinks that Homeboy doesn't have Senjo Gohara as his girlfriend, because that's kind of been a thing we've seen before. But perhaps she is aware and she just was kind of vague, but the hair coloring was kind of a way to show that. Show don't tell. Yeah, basically Pog. Okay. Oh yeah, somebody here. So we'll just continue. Oh, I should probably read this. Ooh, Wikipedia, Japanese pronouns. Oh, don't mind if I do. I'll just get that later. I'm in an incognito tab, so it's not letting me open a new tab. That's so crazy to me. And I do it in incognito. Fun fact, I look at my own videos in incognito because if I do it on my main account, then I start to get recommended Monogatari stuff or like whatever the show stuff. And I don't want to get like spoiled by somebody else's reaction or something that's like, little did you know that blank freaking I don't know, Hanakawa gets hit by a car, blah blah blah. I don't want to get spoiled by like YouTube thumbnails, so that's why I watch look at the comments in incognito mode. Let's take a breath. We're really firing on all cylinders here. Real quick, holy crap, I almost just dropped it. Get yourself a drink for the night. Your boy is drinking a coconut water. How many people guessed that? Probably not that many. It's actually the first time I've ever... I thought I said don't shake it right when I start shaking. First time I've ever had coconut water. If you know as to why I'm even drinking this in the first place. That's a little fun fact, a little secret, little Easter egg hunt. But yeah, so little mini taste test for coconut water as we go. Oh wow. Okay. Whoa. I'm not too sure about that. It smells... This is water. I don't think I like it. It could maybe grow on me. I don't know. It tastes like wood a little bit. Like sweet wood. Like if wood was a fruit, that would be wood juice. That would be my description for coconut water. That is one thing. We have the backup, like sparkling ice. We have the backup, the Dr. Pepper. Actually, no, I finished my Dr. Pepper. That's what we're drinking for tonight. Okay, continuing. Continue. Just had to little mini coconut water taste test. Coconut water reaction. React coconut water. Okay, continuing. Coconut water Andy. Okay, continuing. Okay. This is Otorimonogatari's name. Dude, this coconut water is gonna be bothering me. Otorimonogatari means decoy tail. Think about that for a second. Decoy is a crazy word to me. Okay, we could say that Sengoku, the Sengoku we've gotten to know is a decoy for like the caged monster inside, which is fire. I think that's really good for her character. I totally agree. Decoy also makes me think that the tail itself is a decoy in a way, which kind of leads credence to the first scene with Araragi walking up to the Medusa-fied Sengoku, and he's like, "Oh, I gotta exterminate you." That entire scene being a decoy would kind of make sense because, I would agree that that's out of character for Araragi to do, and that probably didn't happen, but that's just more so coming from Sengoku's desire to be exterminated. So, I mean, man, I feel like Sengoku is one of the most unreliable narrators of the squad out of everyone we've gotten. So for the tail itself, Sengoku's tail, to be the decoy tail, is fire. I like that. Wait, cool fact about the title is the Japanese character for Otori is the same exact character for Bake, except in the character Otori, the Bake part has been trapped in a box. Damn! Okay, I feel that. I like that. Yeah, so the trapped in the box, trapped caged monster, that's really juicy. I didn't read this part until just now. Okay, I'll let that cook. I like that though. Eyes are the window of the soul. That is a saying. Totally makes sense with the Tsukihi thing. Or the Sengoku thing. Tsukihi's the one that cut the hair, of course. In Nisei, she's just trying to give my boy a little peek under the hood. I like that. As for the snake symbolism, you'll find out soon enough. I sure hope so. I mean, they're probably going to explain it, but it's like, man, I want to precognition everything. Appreciate that. Yeah, nice save. True. Yeah, true. Okay. Sengoku speaks her mind. She starts talking about like a stereotypical Japanese delinquent, just like Kuchinawa does. That's the snake's name. She does get really slam-esque, so I liked that a lot. which somebody said that like applied that to like how she's a retro nerd. I think somebody said something about that in here, right here. This type of stereotype character felt more prevalent during the 80s and 90s and probably even early 2000s. We know that Nadeko likes retro stuff, so there's a connection there. That's kind of funny. Yeah, maybe it's like, I mean, because she doesn't have practice being in acting like this, right? She's never had the curtains cut off before, had the bangs cut, had her inner thoughts like spill out like that. So perhaps she was so like this was happening so quickly that instead of like it kind of like she had to have a vessel, like the stereotype character of like the delinquent character. She had to have a vessel to fit these overflowing emotions into. So she slipped into like a stereotype that she was familiar with as a way to deal with this like surge, this catharsis, this breaking of the dam. That's fire. That could be a fun connection we could try to make. One of the best arcs in Monogatari. Agreed. Really good arc. Agreed. This I liked as well. We have seen like miscellaneous background characters. They're that in that weird. They have that like weird pattern going on inside of them, which does distinguish this arc from like the Araragi arcs because we're actually seeing background people. Bro, just imagine the day that we walk into the school and there's a bunch of people animated in the hallway. Like if that happens in one of the arcs, that would be crazy. Because we see it a little bit here, but they're not fully animated, right? They're in that weird like silhouette thing. But if we actually saw like a bunch of them and it like looked more like a normal, you know, story or what, or like a normal anime where in a school where we're actually seeing the background characters, that would be a fun, like very obvious change. That would say something about the narrator, right? And then I like this term pseudo design. That's just a cool term because our teacher does kind of have a pseudo design. Like, yeah, he has a design and he has like some detail, but we don't really see his face and it's kind of super like bland or like factory or something. And then look for the suppress express train line. Yeah, I mean, I would assume it's just like express train is like the emotions within her, like wanting to punch out fast, but she's suppressing that. She's put the walls up. She's constricted that. Apparently there's more there. You know what? I'm just ready to see the comment and to understand that better. Or maybe I'll figure something out with the context in the OP. We'll see. This is some fire as well. Man. Gotta take another sip. My throat is starting to give out a little bit. It's okay, that's okay. Nobody quote me on my throat is starting to give out. Nobody quote that. Okay. Yikes. This is, and this was kind of referenced a little bit in here. There's a disconnect between what she conceptualizes herself and Nadeko. I like that a lot. This is fire. And it kind of goes into the third person thing that confused me as well. Nadeko mainly refers to herself in the third person. Whenever she does refer to herself in the first pronoun, she never capitalizes I. When other characters refer to themselves in the first person, however, they do capitalize I. Nadeko's dialogue during her outburst at school also uses a capitalized I, even though her simultaneous narration continues to use the lowercase pronoun. So this is from the light novel. And it's got, look at this italicization. We love to see it. Do I read this? I'll low-key just read this. But that's not me. I can't see that as being who I am. Nadeko is someone else as far as I go, which is why Nadeko never calls herself me. I'm not the person everyone takes to be Nadeko Sengoku. If they think Nadeko Sengoku is cute, they're not talking about me. Somehow it feels like I'm living another person's life. Like I, and now we're seeing it's a lowercase I instead of this uppercase from up here. Like I have no self. Nadeko lives her life doing what others say. She only reacts to what others say. She never does anything herself. Of course she doesn't, because Nadeko has no self. She's not even empty. There's someone on the outside of Nadeko who's a question mark, and on the inside too. Bro, put this in a flashing bit. You know what I mean? Like, holy crap. The capitalized I is really interesting because it's like the other characters do that because they're more cemented in who they are, like the more self-assured in their selfness. So, but when she says it, she's like not as confident in it, so she lowercases it. And when she's going full rant mode, right? When during her outburst, she's using capitalized I because this is the real her, right? This is the part that's been restrained but is coming out. This is the part that, you know, this is why she cut the snakes, because she wanted to break the chains, right? Kind of going out on a limb there a little bit, but so that's like the full bam coming out, right? But this line, right? Which is why Nadeko, or right here. If they think Nadeko Sengoku's cute, they're not talking about me. It's like the persona that she's put up as like a defense mechanism or defense, I don't know, as like an excuse to not do things, has taken its own life in, and that's where the disconnect is, which is where it's like, is that persona a lie? Could you say it's a lie? I mean, to her, it's so disconnected from her genuine self, her inner self, that it feels like it's someone else entirely. So I guess you could kind of call that a lie. But man, I just keep thinking back to this line from before, right? Maybe there was a bit of truth inside that lie. I don't know. I really like this part though. And this final line of, there's someone on the outside of Nadeko who's a question mark, and on the inside too. Just, oh my goodness. How do I even respond to that? Dude, it's too good for me to try to even interpret on its own. We'll let it cook. We'll circle back. We'll put a pin in it. Really love Nadeko's voice change. The voice actress kind of popped off. And then I just like this because it's using the like uppercase 3, the cubed icon. Yeah. And then this, of course, we've already cleared up. So, bet. Not bot. Bet. I'm going to scroll through Bake a little bit, then we're going to scroll through last episode a little bit, and then we're going to watch the new episode, and then we're going to talk about the finale, and then we're going to go on to the next arc, which I don't know what it's named because I haven't looked at my document in a minute, but I'll make sure to have that correct. So yeah, Bake. Oh, first. So looky here. How do I do this? Oh, let me full screen both of these. Okay. There we go. That's what I want. Okay, so this is Bake. Bake. Before I even go full send Bake, the talismans. We had a little bit of a thing in the comments on the talismans. Talisman. On the talismans that were like, so this is the Bake one, right? We see that it has this infinity knot, which is an interesting thing. Infinity knot, like a snake tied into an infinity, perhaps. And then this is the Otorimonogatari one. Excuse me. That's the coconut water. This is the one that has Homeboy's body in it, right? But it's different. That's the most important thing. I think people came to the conclusion that they were different talismans in like the I think episode 2 reaction or in episode 1 comments. I don't remember exactly, but people came to that conclusion. But this is just visual confirmation that they are different. They look like different talismans, unless you flip this one over and it has the infinity on the back. But I don't think so. Ouroboros is interesting as well. I wonder how the Ouroboros goes into this. Self-consuming. Oh, the moon. La luna. Oddities. Okay. So this is Bake. This, already at the beginning, we already like low-key know that whatever Oshino says, he already kind of knows the situation perfectly, but he's just leading, like he like sets the pieces that leads Araragi to uncovering it, right? He doesn't usually just spill the beans entirely. And I think this is part of that. So this is where I got some of that information that she like read the Encyclopedia of Snake Curses. Killing the snakes to lift the curse was correct, but she kind of did it improperly. Let me just get Araragi's like, that's dumb. And Shino's like, well, actually, that's kind of the right move to do. It's just hard to lift a curse, and she was working with an improper amount of information. Of course, it's going to get worse if done by someone with half-assed knowledge. Man, Ashino is really just trying to cope that his oddity college he went to with Kaiki and freaking Ononoki's person, Kagenui. He's really just trying to cope that it was worth it, that he, Okay, sorry, continue. And it seems that she was pretty unlucky. That's referring to Sengoku. But yeah, I don't know. Okay, we'll just continue. What else was I trying to talk about? Them walking with Kombaru. Yeah, right here. Okay, so this was kind of interesting to... Yeah. This ties back into this line right here. But I can hold in the pain. This is, Sengoku... Araragi's like, yeah, I mean, aren't you hurt? Isn't this hurting you? She says, yes, but I'm good with it, right? And that's kind of, I think, part of her, like she doesn't want to fully be the victim. It's not like, ow, hurt me. But at the same time, it's like, she admits she's being hurt, which is going to make Araragi want to help her no matter what, because he's Mr. Justice. But she's also not, but she's also pretending that she doesn't want help, because then that kind of gives her an excuse of like, oh, it's not that I was acting like a victim and that he helped me because I'm like a self-serving monster or anything. But no, like I didn't want his help in big air quotes, but he was so kind as to give it anyways because he loves me, because he cares about me, right? Um, yeah. And it also kind of makes me think, which kind of makes me think that she's acting like a little bit of a snake, right? A little bit of a serpentine, a little bit nefarious, a little Slytherin. She says, it feels like I'm being constricted, but it's fine, I can hold in the pain. So you're telling me you can hold in the pain here, right? And I know you're probably just trying to put on a tough front so that you feel like you're not forcing Araragi into anything. But let's say you can hold in the pain here, but when your classmates curse you with a snake curse that doesn't even activate, now all of a sudden you need to make moves. You, Sengoku, the one that hides behind your bangs and doesn't do things. The person with no self. Let me actually... The freaking comments, screw it. I'm going back to the comments. Because Nadeko has no self. She's not even empty, right? This right here. She only reacts to what others say. She never does anything herself. Of course she doesn't, because she has no self. You're telling me that the Nadeko, who has no self, who never does anything herself, on her own, went and chopped up a bunch of snakes to stop an issue that wasn't even there yet because it was so minimal that nobody tried to solve it? Like, that's just kind of crazy to me that she would do that unless she was trying to make it worse by pretending she was trying to fix it, so she still has the excuse that she didn't want to make it worse, but she actually secretly did want to make it worse because she's a little snake, right? Because then that makes her get hurt in a way that Araragi tries to help her, but secretly, she's like, oh, I'm fine, I'm holding in the pain, it's not a problem, I'm not a victim, like, oh no, like, you don't have to help me, but secretly she wants to be helped, right? Like, it's I feel like this is kind of all part of that. She's a snake, she's a rat. Yeah. Blam, 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 she gets put in the ritual. There is a little minor thing as well where, like, I think her memories, this was in Otori last episode, but it was like when Araragi was 6 years old. In this episode, Araragi, she's like, yeah, I remember, like, you so much. Or, like, she talks about, I don't remember where it is exactly. I'm probably gonna have trouble finding it. Yeah, Araragi says, I'm surprised that you remembered me at all. Because Araragi was what? Was he was literally 6 when she and her connected? Like, it is kind of insane that she remembers Araragi, because Araragi was 6, the context we get in Otori. So that was just kind of a little mini connection where they previously established in Bake that it was crazy that she remembered Araragi at all, or like Araragi was surprised that he was remembered at all. And then in Otori we actually got the context that he was like 6 or whatever. Just a little mini thing that I realized when I was doing this little mini rewatch of Bake, of episode 10. It's funny, Ashino just said, like, we're like brothers now, so I won't just disappear without telling you, and then he kind of ended up doing just that, but he kind of told him in his own way. And then, of course, there's the 2 snakes that just start to team up on Sengoku. Yikes. And Araragi gets bit. Remember at the beginning of Otori, he also was bit up by snakes, right? So it's kind of like, he's been bit. He got bit up by the snakes in Otori, and those were Sengoku snakes. And then back here, he gets bit by a snake as well. Are they also Sengoku snakes? Perhaps. And then one of the snakes gets away, which kind of is like, okay, is the snake that gets away the one that then comes back and is freaking this, the big white snake, potentially. But yeah, so I think I'm pretty clear on most of this. Basically Pog. Okay, Otori now. Otori, episode 3. We wake up, Tsukiki's prowling around like a cat. And then ends up cutting her hair. Which is obviously what... Oh, I love him as a man. I'm in love with Koyomi Oni-chan. Blah, 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 blah. That's obviously a huge thing for Homegirl. When it gets cut, Karen fixes it up. Was there something else? I feel like there was something else I was trying to say here, but it's not. Oh yeah, she goes insano mode. Let's hear her insano mode speech again. What do you think people are, dolls or something? Isn't Ononoki like low-key a doll? I feel like Ononoki's like a doll. that's a random thing to think of, but just hearing like people doll makes me think of Ononoki because she's her. You know what? I'm also thinking, yeah, Ononoki. I mean, she's like a familiar. I don't know. That's an entire another thing. I'm not gonna deal with that right now. Where's the start of your little speech? I want to hear some of your speech. Hey, riffraffs, you tell them. It's kind of hilarious, but it's also like her. I mean, it really does feel like it's just letting out all that frustration from so long, which is kind of a, it's like a vulnerability kind of thing where it's like, you can just feel that it's not like anger, I want to hurt you, but it's like, get more of an impression of frustration, which has like like something that's more empathizable, able to be empathized with. And like a lot of these lines, like, and the reason that like that frustration almost to me feels like a projection, right? Where it's like she's frustrated about so many things in her life, and this is the time that all of it's coming out, even if it doesn't really relate to the class or not. And that's what makes me able to empathize with it better, and kind of puts like a little bit of that like melancholy. I think one of the comments said kind of a sadness in there. All of you are moping about things past and wasting precious time as adolescents. I mean, she's moping, in air quotes, about Araragi, you know, who is in her past, that she hasn't talked to or seen in so long that Araragi was surprised she even remembered him, instead of, you know, being in a relationship, doing her thing with her current people. As she's like missing her own adolescence because she's so fixated on Araragi in her past. Right? She needs to shed that skin. She's a snake wearing old skin, huh? Is that going to be a snake analogy? Ooh, I kind of like that snake analogy. The shedding of skin. Whoa. But yeah, she's so like caught up in that. So she's missing out on like the boy confesses to her, but she's so intimidated, scared. She wants to use the past thing as an excuse. But yeah, so like a lot of this just immediately feels like a projection thing, which is something that's easy to empathize with. Bah. Yeah. Let me just continue. If who you thought was a friend was jealous of you, that's enough to end the friendship? That's just crazy, because she was jealous of Tsukihi, and she's not really friends with Tsukihi anymore. Is this how she feels? Or like, you know, that friendship kind of, I feel like, lessened a lot. That was kind of one of the impressions I got. So, like, if who you thought was a friend who was jealous of ya, right? And this, of course, relates to the boy and the girl that, like, put the snakes on her in this, hypothetically. You know, it'd be even the craziest thing if it was like Karen or Tsukihi somehow, but I feel like we would have known this by now. Like that, I'm gonna put that aside. But if who you thought was a friend was jealous of you, she was jealous of Tsukihi. That's enough to end the friendship. Her friendship with Tsukihi is not really happening anymore much, you know. So, you know, again, the whole projection thing, as opposed to being like this is actually problems within the class. It's like this is problems in my own life that I'm able to, I guess, kind of apply to the class, but it's really coming from that everything that's just been like held in, right? And it does feel similar to Hanakawa as well, like a lot of this, though it's that instead of Hanakawa, like, I don't know, there's probably a character like a crazy analysis you could do trying to compare those two characters. Yeah. And these crazy shots in her hair, like going. It's no good unless you paint over them, overwrite them. I mean, that's bars. That's bars. Hypocrites that talk principles and hide your real intentions. That's a crazy line. Ooh. I'll let it cook. Betray that you betray once someone believes you. But there must have been... Here it is. Here's what we were... The real reason I want to look at this. But there must have been some truth somewhere in there. I yelled from the bottom of my heart. Maybe there was a bit of truth inside that lie. Man, to me, it's not even her pleading with her class. It's her pleading with herself, right? Oh! That... there was a reason... Like, there's a reason the lie came into being, right? An exaggeration is you know, which you can see as a lie is based in something that's blown up. Kick. I mean, like, what a perfect way to end the speech. Why don't any of you have a heart big enough to forgive all that? And then this feels like Araragi almost like, well, I don't know. When are you so great that you can cherry pick the people around you? I mean, does she feel that way towards Araragi? Maybe. Don't hang out with people based on whether you like them or not. I said one last thing. I yelled it. I hate all of you, but goddamn it, you're all my classmates. You know what? Speak your truth. I like it. Yeah. Oh man. I don't have anything to add other than what I said earlier. I don't think. It's just good. I just like it. She's feeling, look how happy she is after coming out of that. Man, it must be such a relief to get all that off your chest, right? And at the very end, she finds the talisman. To think my vessel wasn't preserved as a physical item, but as a drawing. She finds that, and he promises, "Oh, I'll give you anything. If you have other wishes, I'll grant them." Then the flashing bit does an emphasis of the eye thing that we just saw in that light novel fragment. So I want to get that real quick. You don't have any. This is I like a lot, right? You don't have any wishes, Nadeko. I don't care if they're overly ambitious. It's because I mean her facade that she's put forward this entire time has been like, I'm cute. I put my head down. The world moves around me. They ask something of me. I look down. I look away. They move on. Like that's a very pulled away. That's a person that's very passive, right? She deflects everything that comes at her instead of actively dealing with it. Which is crazy, makes it crazy that she did the chopping up the snakes thing. But then B, I think is why she has trouble answering this, right? And she does land on like, oh, I want my boy Araragi. What should I wish for, right? Like, I feel like that pause there, something for me, Sengoku. What is it that I want? Like, she has to ask herself that, right? That's not something that she hasn't asked before, because it's always been like, other people want this thing from me, and I don't want to do that, but what do I want to do? And then she asks for Araragi to love her back. But this is after admitting, right? My beloved Koyomi Oni-chan, I want our feelings to become mutual. And then Araragi walks in and says, sorry, tough luck. But that part where she wishes for that comes after admitting that he was just a deflection tactic, right? So it's like, he's a deflection tactic, but perhaps, and I think it's a plea as opposed to her saying it's the case, but I think it's a hope that that lie of Araragi being the deflection has some truth within it, as per this part of her speech, at the end of her speech, and that hope, that dream that there was some truth within the lie comes out in this wish, that she wishes for it to become mutual, because that's what she wants, because she wants there to be a little bit of truth in that fake thing she put forward and lived for so long. Araragi says, of course, that one won't come true, Sengoku. And then hits her with just a Giga Chad, like, stoic, stone face. That's my boy right there. But yeah, okay, so what's going to happen? You know what? It's so brutal trying to predict this show, because I'm, like, never right. But that's part of the fun, I guess. Or so we hope, or so we pray. This show is just so hard. Okay. Lock in. Come on, get close. Not that close. So, what is it going to be? He's going to say, you can't wish for that. I'm not going to like you that way. That wish won't come true. And then, is she just going to, wish to hurt him? Or is it like, I want our feelings to become mutual, and that's somehow going to lead to him getting curse? I don't like that. I mean, this idea, which I don't like, is that I want our feelings to become mutual, but instead of her love for him being the feeling that becomes mutual between the two of them, it's her, like, an underground jealousy, envy, insecurity, and perhaps even hatred that becomes mutual between the two of them, which is why he tries to exterminate her. But if we're to say that the whole extermination thing was kind of made up in the first place, then for him, then that wouldn't really work. But perhaps it's that her insecure, bad feelings towards Araragi get made mutual, and then that leads to something. But I don't know. That's an idea. What else even is gonna happen? I'm like drawing a blank. I've been yapping for an hour, man. No, that's no excuse, okay? No. I'm not a victim, okay? No victim, no bangs. Wear it on, speak it from your chest, right? Like I have any sense of duty. F it all. Okay, so Shinobu and Araragi pull up. Let me just pull up Otori episode 1. Where we're going is she's depressed and alone. Of course, you felt that more deeply than anyone else. All humans are thieves, stealing each other's entitlements. Because she's gonna, I feel like, because, okay, the snake hair. How's the snake hair gonna appear? Let's talk that. How is the snake hair gonna appear? There's two things. It's A, she gets tricked, and the hair is like the snake taking advantage of her opening her heart to an ambitious wish, and the snake takes control of that. Or she wishes for something that leads to the snake hair showing up that's more nefarious, such as wishing for the for her bangs, for all of the feelings within her that the cutting of bangs release. She wishes for all of that to come out and for her fake self to be killed or whatever, right? For her facade, her cute facade. I wish to never be cute again, right? And that's the snake's answer is, oh, you want to never be cute again. Your hair, the thing that made you so cute, is now going to be a writhing mass of snakes. You'll never be cute anymore. That could be bars. I kind of like that. Ooh, I hope they do that. That'd be fun. But then that could lead to her. So the hair could be intentional or non-intentional based off of her wish. Because I think Araragi's gonna say you can't make that wish, and then she's gonna it could be like he's like, oh, you can't wish for that, and she'll be like, F you, I wish for B. I can't wish for A, F you, I wish for B. Because she's got no limitations up. If she has an irrational impulse, emotional decision, she's gonna make it because she's in that state with the bangs and everything. It is interesting as well, though, that she wants the bangs to come back. That was like the motivation for the snake, or for the snake stuff to happen. So it's like even when those bangs are cut, she still wants that shield to come back up. So, you know, her genuine self that isn't restrained desires to be restrained, which, of course, makes me think of the Bake snakes, right? Where perhaps she wanted the snakes to constrict her for ABC reasons that we've already talked about. But yeah, she wants to be restrained, which is why she wants to wish for the bangs to come back, which is like a truth within the lie of the bangs. There is some truth of, I want them to be there within, right? Yeah. The thief stuff, I don't freaking know what you're talking about. Good people can become bad people can become good. Can't be a cure, be a poison. Bars. Snake time. She still has the scrunchie. Ooh, I didn't notice she had the scrunchie here. That's kind of fun. It was me, it was my fault. She, like, admits it. Yeah, maybe she, like, wishes for, like, because she's hoping to go back into the victim thing, but maybe when Araragi says you can't do that, or you can't make the wish in this, or you can't make the wish, she completely abandons that idea and full sends the take off every restraint, which I think the get rid of the cuteness thing would fit into that really well. Probably. No room for extenuating circumstance. It was my fault. I mean, I like it. I like that we're taking responsibility for your actions, you know? But it's got that air. It's got that air of, like, melancholy and sadness, which, like, doesn't... Then I have to fight properly. Like, she's... It's like taking responsibility as opposed to a cathartic outburst of something that she wants to do, you know? And then Shinobu says, plus all plus ratio, imagine... Imagine. Oh, Shinobu. Freaking Shinobu. I understand why Hawaiian shirt guy was so worried about Bangs Girl. That's why, I mean, that's not the Yoshino guarantee. He's already seen this situation pan out 7 times ahead, which is why he sent in freaking Ogi to deal with it, man. That Ogi's the one that caused all this to happen, which is why it's gonna, I'm convinced that we're gonna end up with it going well, because I think Ogi is the one that brings out the thing underneath, the ticking time bomb that Oshino was worried about is what Ogi is meant to do. Whether Ogi is a familiar or whether Ogi is an actual uncle that's just taking on the role of Oshino or following in the footsteps of Araragi to connect to these people that have so many issues or whatever. Who even knows, but Explode Araragi's heart. Omega lol. I hate you. Yeah, yeet. I just see Araragi get killed so often that I don't even sweat it anymore. She's really a little devil. A little snake. Why did things have to end up this way? Why? Alright, let's jump into the new episode, I'm thinking. Let's jump into episode 4, I'm thinking. So, Araragi's here. Homeboy has made it clear that her wish will not be granted. Let me take another sip of the coconut water, give it another try. Give it another try. Yeah, I just don't think I could ever drink this. I don't think that's the case. It really does taste like wood as a fruit. I think I would stand by that statement. Let me wash that down. Listen, I gave it a shot. You know what? And if coconut water just gets you salivating, then all respect to you. It's a good thing that somebody will buy it, right? Okay. Episode 4, Otorimonogatari, the finale of this arc, should be very, very exciting. Let's get it going in a 3, 2, 1. She really got caught red-handed looking at his mags. I don't care if he figures everything out. What is happening? It's crazy. She's acting so, like, shy. It is atonement, though. Yeah, it's taking responsibility. I'm not the victim. The victim and the culprit. That's kind of... I like that. I didn't want you to be left alone. Oh boy, Shinobu. He's trying to tuck her down, bro. He's trying to tuck her down. Don't bad cop this. No, then actually jump her. Shinobu's throwing the match. She should have just shadow uppercutted her like she did Araragi. Like, don't tell her plan. Oh, no, Shinobu. Crimes should be punished. Yeah, you don't want to be the victim anymore? Like a snake, cold-blooded. That's crazy. Oh, this music. But you know, it's not saying anything. That's kind of crazy to me. Cover for me? Wow. You're calling her Bangs Girl still? Gain entrusted my master with? Is that new? Wait. That's a good... Okay. Oh, she's about to put the scrunchie in her hair. Wait, okay. Thank goodness the OP just happened. I don't have enough room on my page. Okay. Gotten entrusted Araragi with talisman. Why though? I mean, we remember her looking for him, right? That was like a thing. Oh my goodness. Too many episodes, too many plot threads. Okay. Man, the whole victim and culprit thing is crazy to me. Dude, she's in the box. She's in the box. Just like the Bake's in the box, right? Just the title. Holy. She's in the box, man. May I be cute forever. Or is she gonna wish to be cute forever? Maybe that'll be her wish. Like maybe cute forever, but when she was acting in Tori episode 1, she was not acting cute. She was acting murder. She was letting all the hatred out, right? That's not cute. But maybe she wishes for that and then it gets inverted. I don't know. We'll see. We're about to find out. We're about to find out. Doki doki. Nadeko Medusa. It'd also be crazy if it never even happened, but we're about to see. We're about to see. Put the scrunchie in your hair. That's what I'm saying, Shino. That's what I'm saying, Araragi. That's what I'm saying. Oh, she's eating it. Means you double down. Damn. Oh, she didn't even wish for it. She just ate it. That's insane to me. Go back in the shadow. Go back in the shadow. Wow. It's crazy because he did try to save her. That's, well, yeah, he's been talking with her the entire time. And he was apologizing, you know? And he tried to save her and, oh my goodness, can you stop lancing him? Yeah, why are we here? Oh, she's under the shrine. She went under the shrine after stabbing him. 2nd of November. Yep. It sure does, doesn't it? It was fun. I've enjoyed it. Thank you, Sengoku. Yeah, I'm glad. Oh, we've killed him now. Okay. Are they actually just dead? I guess they are. I got bad news for you. It's not like they're gonna stay dead. Oh, now you're talking, huh? Now you're spitting. It's crazy. She ate his body. She didn't give it to him. Oh, he was revived, though. He was revived by that. It's interesting. It is like a her doubling down, kind of like F it we ball thing, though. And like an impulsive thing. So that totally makes sense. Wow. Yeah. I like that. It's all about belief. Those words struck deep. And orally. Like orally. I think I'm Joan of Arc. That's wild. Wow. I mean, that's how like all oddities work in a way, though it's like all kind of from her belief, which makes it unique, I guess. Mm. She's doing the Araragi hair thing. That was crazy. True. I guess not true. Classic head turn. From the encyclopedia? Yeah, yeah, yeah. The encyclopedia of snakes, bro. Whoa, meant to forget our sins? That was a crazy line. Not Nadeko's delusion. Wow, what a line. She's monologuing with herself. Okay. Wow, this is the rain being the drops is really light. I like that a lot. Okay, so yeah. Got jealous. To send the snake? Is that kind of what you mean? You broke the magic charm placed on you by your friend. Ooh, what a shot. Mmm. Yeah, she didn't know that the spirits had come here with Ogi did this? Ogi! That Shinobu had got like existence or Kiss Shot's existence had gathered the spirits here. Ogi, you rat! Wait, the conversation went differently? Whoa. Whoa. Ogi, what are you talking about? Mere months ago. When did this happen? Did you just cut that out of my... Okay. Ogi, what are you? You're a rat. You're a little rat. Okay. Just shove it in a snake. From Ogi as well. Alright, thanks, Ogi. You're just the little person that makes things happen. Catalyst. Your catalyst is the perfect word. She's the story maker, man. Araragi's still twitching. Why is Ogi trying to create stories? A story created to find the talisman. Nothing but lies. A decoy. Oh, she's... You're stabbing her more? Stop stabbing her. Bro. All the illusions, man. Oh, wow. She was calculating, man. Ah, the thief stuff. That's where a lot of those thief comments were coming from. From the beginning. You shouldn't rely on God? Oh my goodness. Mm-hmm. Wow, that's a good shot. Facts. I mean, not everyone. I mean, have you seen Araragi? Oh, you're still kicking, Shinobu. Ooh, that background music. I only struck her. Relatable. Oh, when you found the talisman? Or did you, like, somehow clue it in? Okay. Niece Pretender. I silenced her. That's weird. Niece... Guess I have to fix that. Niece Pretender. Are you talking about Ogi? Right. Wow. Wow. You and me both. Kuchinawa. Oh, his heart's back. Bro, I swear if she's just passed out... Oh no, okay. That's Araragi's phone. It being daytime made me think it was a time skip somehow. I changed my mind. I felt strange. Yeah, what's good with you? Who is this? Oh, Sanjigahara. Is my guy still alive? He had the regen. Senjo, how did he let you know? Okay. Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, I'll kill all three. Can't compromise. It's Sengoku. You can't just give up. Okay, yeah, good, good, good. Ooh! You can't kill Araragi before Shinobu. Oh, and then she goes, yeah, she goes kiss shot mode. Facts. Well, thanks for giving her advice on how to kill correctly. I guess. Why is that? Why is that? Wow, really? She'll take out the box cutter, take out the scissors, take out the stapler. You, Shinobu Araragi. Okay. Curiosity peaked. Wow, just delay it. You'll live forever as long as people worship you. Yeah, you got no worry on your timetable. Let us graduate. Graduation day, you're gonna come kill Araragi. Oh, no, you're gonna kill Sengoku. Oh my goodness. Don't hold hands? Dang. Aww. That's a sad line. That's really sad. Sengoku says it how it is. More than my former self. Damn! Good move, Sengoku. I like the energy. Yeah, Sengoku? What? Oh my goodness, that's insane. They didn't resolve it at all. Dude, it's just like the Bake arc. They didn't resolve that either. Like, completely. One of the snakes got away. Bro, she never gets resolved. That's crazy to me. Wait, we gotta come deal with this later? Oh my goodness. Wow. How do we even deal with this? That's okay, no wonder I was like, oh, how are they gonna wrap this up in an episode? That's crazy to me. Oh, they're not. My fault. Thought they would. Oh, you little snake. So, okay, so we got 6 months. We know she fails. We know that for some reason he's not going to get killed in 6 months, right? Which honestly, like, not only do we see that in Hana, but we see that in Little Booty Shake. We see that, or I feel like that's easy to assume that they're not going to kill Araragi because we're like halfway through the 100 whatever episodes total of the show, and Araragi's literally the main guy. So what? You're going to kill him halfway through the story? Like, Monogatari doesn't strike me as a show that perma ices like actual characters like that. Before someone says, "Oh, what about Guillotine Cutter?" Guillotine Cutter's not a real character. Don't get me twisted. You are not getting me that twisted. Or Hachikuji. What if Hachikuji? No, Hachikuji's always been dead. She doesn't count either. Okay, is there an after credit scene here? There is. No time skip, no spoilers. Isn't the story over anyways? Bro, you tell me. You tell me, Sengoku. Wouldn't be polite to end it chopped? Okay, yes. Episode preview. Thank you. Yeah, what is this music? Okay. Tell me about it. You were supposed to be met here. Yeah. The squad. Whoa. Wow, the ponytail. Say farewell to her human self. The squad rolled up. For them. Dude, Shinobu's in her big form. That would be the entire cast. They're not, though? Not the entire cast. That'd be a lot of them, though. Right. Yeah? Yeah, what is this? She just wants to be the BBEG. Okay, dude. She really did write this herself. Oh, and you put him in a box? Coming soon. Wait. Did that say Snake God? What was that? Snake God, bro. It says Snake God. Otorimonogatari Snake God. Nadeko Medusa Part 4. Continue next time. So now we're just preparing for the final boss fight with okay. You know what I need? I need friggin' an arc from anyone else that talks about this, because then I can get half an idea of what we're even trying to do from the Team Araragi. Because what Team Araragi doesn't want to just go ice her. I mean, the whole, like, bro, her talking about abandoning her human self. It's time for me to say farewell to the human self, or for Sengoku to say farewell to her human self. Like, that's Araragi freaking 101, right? Like, he's been trying to deal with that, the whole, like, monster human self. Like, that's right up his alley, right? So he's not gonna just show up and be like, time to murk you, you know? But man, who was hanging? I didn't even watch the preview. Let me watch the freaking this. Karen Tsukihi, Spitbars. Otorimonogatari has reached its end. All is well that ends well. Yeah. My unwavering detachment. Wow. About toothbrushes? Yeah. Polishing shiny objects with only a brush can be quite the ordeal. What are you talking about? What is this snake thing in the background? Sengoku Nadeko quality product, albino snake, and its included note. Why are we talking about this? So I had him try that on me, thoroughly wiping each tooth one by one. Oh, and then Araragi eats all the snakes. Okay, cool. Tooth wiping rocks. Otorimonogatari, that's the next one. Shinobu Time, Part 1. Shinobu Time. Shinobu Time? Time? What? Shinobu. Hey guys, it's Shinobu Time. I don't know why, that's so funny to me. Okay, seriously though, he really loves laying his hands on his little sisters. He says he'll need until the graduation ceremony to recover. I'd love to lay one of mine on him. Can we not? Okay, that's the end. Wow. They really just didn't conclude it. They really just didn't conclude it and said, we'll deal with this in 6 months. We'll circle back in 6 months, pin in it for 6 months. Just like Bake, you know, end of the Bake arc. Oh, one of the snakes gets away. And the whole, that's all, dude, I was yapping about that so much in Bake. Wasn't I? The whole, like, oh, wow, like, Sengoku, the freaking snake slithers away, and the actual root cause of the issue, the snakes being sicked on her in the first place was never dealt with, right? And this was, like, her trying to deal with her cutting up the snakes, and in doing so, now we have another problem that's not being dealt with. Sengoku is just the one that gets hoed. Everyone else, like, a lot of their stuff kind of gets dealt with in one way or another, right? Like, even in the case of Shinobu and Kizu, right? Like, they kind of compromise in a weird way, but like at least they find a new stable medium with the whole Shinobu Araragi thing, and then like every other person has been largely found some sort of resolution. No, not her. Ogi, quick question, Ogi. Yeah, funny thing. So I was kind of trusting you here, right? I was going out on a limb and saying, "Oh, Ogi, you're the one that's perpetrating, like that's digging all this up. That's the catalyst for all this behavior. You surely have good reason to do so, right? And surely things will go well because of it." Like I was giving you that benefit of the doubt kind of thing, Ogi, and things did not go very well because now she's a god that in 6 months wants to kill everyone. And in your preview, Sengoku, you got homie in the box. Is his corpse in the box? You're meaning to tell me? I like the ponytail. By the way. Ponytail, changing the hairstyle, you know. It is weird though. Didn't you say that you wanted the whole cast to be here, but they weren't all here? I had my eyes fixed. Whose shoe is this? Is that Kambaru's shoe? Is that Senjogahara's shoe? Probably Senjogahara's shoe. Oh yeah, because Senjogahara was supposed to die first. But why is it going backwards? I mean, Shinobu time? What is that going to have to do with anything? Oh, geez, that timeline's about to get so insane. Oh, boy. Oh, golly. Oh, gosh. Okay. Araragi. Shinobu. Dude, seeing Shinobu. Dude, does she have a donut necklace? Oh, my goodness. Senjogahara, why is your face obscured? Do you normally wear this tie, Senjogahara? Is this normally what you look like? I haven't seen you in so long, Senjogahara. I haven't even seen you back when we just keep talking to you on the phone. I mean, hey, Ogi. Oshawangwang. Sorry. Ogi. Hey, Ogi. You're not, like, for hire as a fake Senjogahara, right? That would be crack? That would be insane? It's because I'm not seeing Homegirl's face. And Ogi does have a tendency to dress up as other people, right? And did dress up as Senju. What arc was that? It was the beginning of Kabuki. Do I have Kabuki downloaded? I don't. A bad day to be me. I don't, right? No, I do not. Huh. Okay. Because this is just the normal school outfit. So, well, look at this. It's zoomed out here. Who are you? Is that what you normally look like, Sengoku? Oh, I have Bake downloaded. I can look at Bake. Second season, Monogatari, Bake Monogatari. I have a Bake 10 here. Do we see I don't think we see Senjogahara in this at all. We do not. Okay, let me go back to second season, Otori, episode 4. Because I'm trying to think, like, what if this isn't her? Because it's so weird we don't see her face. We see everyone else's face, we don't see her face. It could be that homegirl Sengoku doesn't want to see her face because she's so disgusted. Or it could be that it's just, like, straight up not her. Let's see, what is this? You can't call it a promise, but behind those three... If Kambaru or Hanakawa were there, that'd be perfect. So she's making up what the situation will be in 6 months. That's not actually the situation. This isn't a preview, but she just is what she expects. Because she's saying if. And then... we see Kambaru's, like, arm in, like, a blood pool. Got news. Kambaru doesn't get iced. This is insane to me. And if the final battle could begin with its signal free, I couldn't wish for anything more. And then she says, oh, love quote. Where's that blood pool? Right here. This is Kambaru's, Kambaru's arm. Kambaru even being there was predicated on an if statement. So, and then this is Hanakawa. You can tell by the short hair and the other parts. This is Senjogahara's foot. We don't actually see Senjogahara, which again is kind of weird. And then Araragi gets put in a box. Because it would be crazy, right, if Araragi was like, yo, you are, because they know Sengoku is the first one that's going to get iced. So imagine instead of Sengoku showing up, we just send in a decoy. We send in Ogi. That would be so funny. Because then it's like, oh, you thought you killed Sengoku, you just killed Ogi instead. You have messed up the order. And now, as a god, you have to revive us all. I don't know, something insane like that. And then this, like, music, it's like the entire impression of this final thing feels like a trailer for a movie as opposed to be... Like, it feels like she's wrote a trailer. Why are there webs? Is this web? Oh no, these are snake skins. These are snake skins. These are shedded snake skins. Molting changed. We molted into being a god. Okay. This meant I had my eyes fixed on what was in front of me. It's crazy. We had 20 minutes and I'm stuck on these 2 at the end. Says goodbye to her human self. I don't think Araragi's going to just roll over with that. This here. Okay, the last day to see things with my own eyes. I think this is supposed to be Sengoku. But we don't see her face. She's like... Because, like, yeah, the one that homegirl would, that Sengoku would have such issue with would be Sengoku, and is Sengoku because Sengoku is the girlfriend, right? It's funny, Sengoku being the girlfriend ended up actually being plot important. I thought it wouldn't have been, because I didn't see her going on a freaking, like, let's kill the girlfriend thing. That would make sense, totally makes sense. But ended up being very plot important. And obviously she's aware of Sengoku. I'm just not convinced this is Sengoku, or that, like, well, because look at the hair. Why is her hair this short? This looks like Hanakawa length hair, does it not? Because even the Sengoku here, this Sengoku... No, I mean, Sengoku's hair is pretty short here as well. I just am getting so knocked off guard that we're not getting her full face in any of these shots, and we're only getting her shoe. It makes it think that she's straight up not here, and it's not her, even in the hypothetical, like, thing. Or, I don't know. But this, again, is just Homegirl Sengoku's idea of this event, her advertising of this event, right? The if statement of Hanakawa or Kanburu even being there, right? Right here. So, it could just be that she doesn't want to, like, imagine Sengoku, you know? She doesn't even want to deal with that. It's just crazy to me. Sengoku, you're a rat. You're a snake. The whole, like, delusion thing, entire thing, alone, that is, like, an entire thing. So, like, my understanding, right, I'll just try to spit what was spat to, like, reaffirm that I'm on the wavelength of the show. She imagined Kuchinawa-san. It being a hallucination was not only, an alternative to it being an oddity, but also the oddity itself was a hallucination, right? So that's when she said, like, it was a hallucination in 2 ways or whatever, like, as well as being a hallucination in aura. Yeah, so that was the case. Some of this stuff was crazy. And that comes from her knowledge of the Snake Encyclopedia, of which she read, and her desire for atonement is what, and her wanting to take responsibility to break out of the victim thing, like, that impulse within her is what led to her hallucinating the snake as like a person saying you need to atone, which then the crazy thing to me though is because, like, totally makes sense that, like, the oddity can exist from her and her alone, because oddities are based on belief, blah blah blah, totally there for it. And she is believing in oddities, seeing that she's aware of oddities because she did the snake ritual, which, you know, is obviously really dangerous and something that Araragi's talked about before. I'm thinking back to, like, Nisei, right, where he didn't, like, Karen and Tsukiki don't believe in oddities. Right? And so she believes in oddities. She hallucinates an oddity, which ends up still creating an oddity. The crazy thing for me is that Kuchinawa is an ancient forgotten god, right? And so she probably got that from the book, and so she hallucinated that god, right? That's the idea, I think. But because it's an ancient god, that's what gives it all its power when it's revived. And it's crazy because homeboy Oshino saw this all coming. Because or Gaon, but I think Oshino, so Gaon entrusted, entrusted Araragi with the talisman. So at least Gain saw this coming, but I'm willing to bet Oshino did way back in Bake, because, and then also with kind of how Ogi's walking around acting. But her falling into this, like, coming into fake believing contact into a god is what, I mean, okay. Explain this to me. Araragi is given the talisman of the god, which has the god's body, has the power of the god within it. Araragi is the target of Sengoku. Everyone's aware of this, surely, right? The freaking Oshino, at least, is aware of this entire thing because he was a part of that conversation back in Bake. So why, if you're worried about, because I think Shinobu said a line, no wonder the Hawaiian shirt guy was so worried about you. If homeboy Oshino is worried about her and is aware of her potential for snakedom, then why would you give Araragi the snake charm? Why would you orchestrate that? Unless you would give it to, if realistically, if she was the one that could cause the snakeopocalypse, if she's the one that can cause that, and she has a problem with, and all her stuff is focused on Araragi, then why would you give the key to causing that to Araragi? That's literally a recipe for disaster, which makes me think they wanted this to happen because they wanted to, I don't know, they wanted to banish the corpse of this thing by giving it form and then destroying it. Like, that's a thought, but it feels intentional that all of this is happening. I can't shake the feeling that it's all intentional, which gives me, like, makes me not too worried about it. Because Ogi's walking around literally instigating, that's the word, I kept forgetting the word earlier. Ogi's literally Ogi the instigator. With all this happening, Gain's walking around, who's connected to a ton of stuff. It's connected to Kanbaru, connected to Kaiki. Well, kind of connected to Kaiki, just because Gain is Kanbaru's aunt, and Kaiki's connected to Kanbaru's mom. So maybe there's a connection there, right? And then, I don't know, Gain's walking around, or it wasn't... And this is where my memory starts to fail me. Wasn't Gain literally like the upperclassman to Homeboys? To the three of them? To Kagenui, Kaiki, and Oshino? I feel like she was the upperclassman. I don't have it written down though. In Balancer, as a balancer, right? Point being though, freaking there's connections that you can make between Gain and the Kaiki Oshino Kagenui squad, and Gain's the one that gave Araragi the talisman, and I don't think she just did that because she entrusted him to deal with the powerful artifact. Like, obviously it's more safe in her hands because she's an actual balancer, right? He's just a half oddity. Homegirl, I mean, even Kagenui has an entire oddity Ononoki under her control, right? Not that, I mean, Shinobu is pretty build different, so it's kind of an entire thing, but like they would, entrusting it to Araragi more feels like they're giving it to Araragi as a time bomb because they want that time bomb to go off in the form of Sengoku ascending to snake godhood, because they want this to happen for some purpose. The purpose I would imagine being this: Sengoku's aware of oddities, right? So she is a time bomb. So we want to set the time bomb off within our parameters. We don't want it to explode when we're not looking. We want it to explode when we are in a situation we concoct so we have the control over it, you know? We want to be the ones pulling the strings in how the story's told. Shout out my boy Kaiki, who does that all the time by giving just little pieces of information. So I feel like there is that intent there from the squad. And now we have 6 months prep time. And, like, think about it. Like, Senjugahara calls in time. Like, how did Senjugahara know to do this? I mean, Araragi probably just hit her up, right? But and Ogi's just everywhere, man. Ogi's connected to Gain. Almost surely. Because Gain entrusts this to Homeboy, and then Ogi makes moves. Ogi's connected to Oshino, so of course he's connected to everything. He, who freaking knows? Ogi, I feel like Ogi's just a shapeshifter, man. Or a familiar. Ogi, I feel like, is an oddity who is potentially a shapeshifter. Just because Ogi has looked two different ways, has such a blank face that I feel like can, like, man, shapeshifters, I feel like a trope with shapeshifter characters is that they have a very blank, like, face because it's like the thing underneath any matter of masks, right? The thing underneath is very, like white, not white, like white as in a clean marble slate, right? And in Ogi's freaking face is very plain in that way, in a way that I feel like screams to be modified. On top of changing clothes all the way, on top of acting like Araragi, on top of acting like Sengoku, approaching Araragi in the staircase, acting like Araragi with the bike stuff, kind of replicating Araragi's movements in a lot of ways, and like who he's talking to, or who freaking Ogi's talking to, right? So in that way, I get shapeshifter energy off of Ogi, which would, and it's probably why I'm trying to make the argument that this Sengoku could just be Ogi in disguise, because that would disrupt all of Sengoku's stuff, because Sengoku would improperly think that this is Sengoku, her first target, when it is in fact not. So her dream of killing, Senjo, then Araragi, or no, Senjo, then Shinobu, then Araragi, then the two other ones. Or I don't know how her hypothetical of Kanbaru and Hanakawa fit into this. That's not even the entire cast. We still got Hachikuji in the basement. In the base. Okay. We still got, who else do we even have? I was trying to think of more characters. There's just too many characters. Not enough. I love all the characters, but I'm trying to think of like the main batch. I don't know. There's a lot of them. I mean, there's like Ononoki, Kagenui, blah, 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 blah. But connected to Araragi, kind of part of the Araragi harem, or like collection of Araragi women. Hachikuji, Shinobu, Senjougahara, Karen. Oh, Karen Tsukihi. That's missing the entire cast. Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of an entire another thing. But yeah. So, 6 months from now, we gotta fight to the death. 6 months from now, we gotta fight to the death. There's just no way, though, that I mean, we know from Hana, that, I feel like that's probably where the Hana split comes from, that some people would see this as like a dramatic tension of, oh, are we going to be able to beat Sengoku the God? But, I mean, everything in the show has been resolved. Every single oddity gets resolved. Sengoku's the exception. In Bake, her stuff wasn't really resolved. Now her stuff isn't resolved. But otherwise, things get done. Moves get made. Sometimes it's a patchwork job, Kizu. But most of the times, it's pretty bang bop, right? Or, sometimes it needs to be revisited, Kanbaru, right? With the monkey paw needed to be revisited with in Hana, with Numachi and all. But we do resolve these things. So I don't see a future in any of Monogatari till the end of, like, till all of the show, and unless we're talking literally like the last chapter of everything. But even then, I wouldn't see it. I don't feel like the show is one that would have like a bad ending, ever, right? I feel very confident that everything will be resolved. I mean, it's a story. These characters are telling us the story. That in and of itself, that Araragi is telling us these stories, is proof that he doesn't get murdered. Because he couldn't tell us the stories if he was dead. I see this all as adult versions of these characters talking about their youths, talking about them as when they were kids, which that's how the story, I feel like that's the personification of the story to me, is an adult, like I'm sitting across from an adult version of the character telling me about this thing in the past, or not necessarily adult, but just it was in the past, right? And the whole youthful element, right, of like, oh, it's a story about youth, is why I kind of went into the adult thing there. But that in and of itself implies their continued survival, and it implies that it was solved, or at least dealt with in a way that they can then reminisce on it. That would be my argument there. Argument, I don't know why I'm arguing. That would be my statement. That would be my statement into the show itself, and why, I guess maybe this is an argument of why a dramatic tension from thinking, oh, is Sengoku going to kill them all? Is Sengoku going to be successful? I don't see that dramatic tension to exist very much, because I don't think I would ever consider that a reasonable possibility with the show itself, because of the way that it's been formatted, because of the way it's been portrayed. That would be my point there. Yeah. I'm not saying that dramatic tension wouldn't exist, I just wouldn't be super convinced by it, I don't think, in that hypothetical. Where I'm not aware of, like, obviously with Hana, I'm aware of where it's going. But, I'm, of course, making a speculation on a different future. A different future where I would be unaware of those things and would be making a guess from here. But yeah. really crazy arc. I like how it didn't get solved though, at all, because that's such a break from the show where usually it's very open shut, and then referenced later. But this is like an active problem. Like every arc from now on, I'm gonna be thinking about, okay, is this tying into our anti-Sengoku plans? Honestly, preparing to deal with Sengoku is low key probably why all these people are even here in the first place. That's probably why Gaian's here. That's probably why, Kagenui, Kaiki, that's probably a good reason why a lot of these balancers are even walking around, because we got the Snake Overlord, the Snake-a-thin walking around. Yeah. The one snake that gets away, we still never really got an exact confirmation on what happened with that from Bake. In fact, like it's not the snake that got away isn't Kuchinawa, because Kuchinawa was made up by Homegirl from her knowledge of oddities, which shows like it's kind of I like the fact that even knowing of oddities' existence is such a dangerous thing, because then you can believe in them, because you can't believe in them if you don't think they're real, right? Like thinking they're real is believing in them, which causes oddities to be born, which causes problems. So like if everybody became aware, like it'd be crazy. This is probably one reason why Kiss Shot would be so powerful. It's like if an oddity gets strong enough that it forces people to become aware of it, i.e. Kiss Shot, decides I'm gonna murder everyone and then starts attacking random people in the streets, like all of a sudden a bunch of new people are aware there's a vampire sucking people's blood, and them becoming aware of it then makes them believe in it, which makes it stronger. So there's like a tipping point where if an oddity becomes so strong, if a story, oddity, whatever the term, because they've kind of been throwing a lot of story, this arc is throwing a lot of like, this is a story, this is a tale, and I gotta write down story next to Ogi's name, like story hunter or something, story creator, let's write that. How do you spell creator? I'm not gonna say it out loud because I'm gonna get it wrong. Creator. I think it's an O. I don't freaking know. I'll understand it. Yeah, I see Ogi as a very like the person that's creating stories, but I don't. We'll get to that later. We'll circle back. Sengoku. Oh yeah, if an oddity hits that tipping point of is so strong that the balancers can't keep it under wraps, can't deal with it, then if can't keep that balance, then it tips into becoming incredibly strong, incredibly fast. If you have Sengoku decide, oh, I want everybody to know my name, I want to kill everyone, then she kills a bunch of people become aware of her, she gets stronger, she kills a bunch of people, accelerates, boom, end of the world. So any oddity that isn't carefully balanced, I don't know, I feel like I'm now understanding why they chose the word balance a lot better, because of the risk of an oddity kind of going wild like that exists very strongly just in the nature of what oddities do, into the nature of oddities themselves. Yes. Dang, anything else I'm trying to say? Really good arc. I like it. This kind of beginning thing, I was a little, lost a little bit. I don't know about lost. I was a little confused, let's say confused, at the very beginning with, her not hearing him, or, her trying to talk with Kuchinawa. I kind of thought that we perspective shifted onto Araragi for a second, or that she was pretending to be controlled by Kuchinawa or something. But Kuchinawa wasn't talking to her. He wasn't covering at all. I think this was her trying to use Kuchinawa as a shield, as the instead of her bangs. She was like, "Oh, Kuchinawa, it's all right, calm down," as an excuse for her behavior. But then Kuchinawa, yeah, she is pretending to talk to him, but Kuchinawa was not covering for her. That's what it was. Okay, I think that's what it was. She's like, it had turned into a simple article. You're not talking to me. That's crazy to me. Why would you abandon me like that? Which is funny because, of course, up until this point, Kuchinawa was just her own delusion, which is why when it actually got powered up, then Shinobu was able to hear it later down the line. Dude, she really just stabbed Shinobu so much. Calm down. Oh, you're a little rat. Okay, yeah, look at Ogi's outfit. Okay, black leggings. You're wearing the girl's suit. We go here. It's after graduation. Is Sengoku wearing Sengoku's wearing full black leggings. That's the Ogi special. Ogi doesn't even have to be a shapeshifter. Ogi could just wear a wig. Yeah, why is Sengoku wearing the... Does Sengoku normally wear full leggings? Frick. How do I look this up without it taking forever? I'm just gonna have to cut. Okay, I'm gonna make a cut here. I'm gonna get a copy of Bake episode 1 or episode 2 maybe, and just look at Sengoku real quick. Okay, and we are back. I went to Bake episode 1, and this is a shot of Sengoku and Araragi. Sengoku is wearing black leggings, but they stop before her skirt, right? So take a looky. We go back here. This is Tori episode 4, right? Yep. And looky. Does this potential Sengoku's leggings stop at a point, or do they go all the way? I kind of feel like they go all the way. No, they stop at a point. Oh, dang. Ogi, what about your legs? Let me just look at Ogi legs for a minute here. Ogi. Oh, but Ogi's go all the way. Okay, not evidence then. That would be Sengoku evidence, as opposed to Ogi evidence. I mean, Ogi could just change it, of course, right? And change the leggings out, but that could have been like a very micro hint, which would have been fun. Dang, maybe it's not Ogi. But then why are you hiding Sengoku's face so much? I'm going to hold on to that theory. I'm going to put it in the back. I'm going to put it in the back of the shelf. Maybe revisit it down the line. Could be exciting. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think that's all there's a lot of stuff in here, in the middle that I feel like I could do with another look at. But I do think I would rather, not just tell this is an actual story. Otherwise, the coherence of my delusion would have fallen apart. Oh yeah, for the whole, like, the shelf thing. Like her finding the snake on the shelf. Human memory being flawed, blah, 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 blah. There's probably a lot of good stuff in here to re-look at. But at the moment, I think I'm good. I kind of want to bounce off comments, see if people have anything to say specifically. Because that'll give more to work with in the middle here. Because there's a lot was just explanation of kind of why Kuchinawa was able to be her delusion, right? You know, she had stricken from her memory and from the story, like Ogi talking to her, getting her to go to the shrine, her praying, doing the 100 prayers, not actually hitting 100, but, all that kind of stuff. I silenced her. Huh? That's weird. She's still moving. This is kind of, I don't know. The way that the flashing bit was organized, I don't think I've seen before, where it's like they split the third sentence, but I think that's just that doesn't actually mean anything. And yeah, I mean, it is a twisted logic that if he's dead, he can't make more girlfriends and can't break my heart anymore. You know what? Sure. You know what? If you truly believe he'll never love you, which is kind of just the reality of things, then why not kill him? I think that's fair. I think that's smart. But yeah, that's all I think I really got for this episode. Episode 4 of Otorimonogatari. On to the next. Apparently, is it O something? Continue next time. Did they even say? I think they say at the very end here. Let's see. Shinobu time. Yeah. Next time, I guess we're going to maybe be looking at Shinobu time, episode 1. That's a crazy title to me. No idea. I don't think we've had a Shinobu arc other than like Kizu, but like they've never called it Shinobu before, so that's just crazy to me. And time as well with the Kabuki stuff is kind of interesting as well. But yeah, that's I think all I really got for this episode 4 of Otorimonogatari. On to the next Shinobu time, episode 1, most likely. Until next episode, that's all I got for tonight. I'll be seeing you then. Wait, no, I got my full spiel. Of course, if you like the video, subscribe. If you're new, blah, 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 comment down below if you have anything to say, or join the Discord and talk to me or other Monogatari fans there. Notification as well. Look at the About Me for different socials. And until the next episode, that's all I got for tonight. I'll be seeing you then. Peace.